Vesikko is a submarine, which was launched on 10 May 1933 at the Kryton Vulcan dock in Turku. Until 1936 it was named by its manufacturing code name CV707. Vesikko was ordered by a Dutch engineering company Ingenieurskantoor Voorschipsbouw in 1930 as a commercial submarine prototype. Purchased by the Finnish before the war, she saw service in the Winter War and World War II, sinking the Soviet merchant ship Vyborg as her only victory. After the ceasefire with the Allies in 1944, Vesikko was retired. Finland was banned from operating submarines after the war, and she was kept in storage until she was turned into a museum ship. Vesikko was one of 5 submarines to serve in the Finnish Navy. The other 4 were the 3 larger Vatainen-class boats Vatainen, Vesikko, Turso, and the small Saukko. The word Vesikko is the Finnish name for the European mink. Development and design. Ingenieurskantoor Voorschipsbouw was a German front company in the Netherlands, established to secretly design a new German submarine fleet. According to the terms of the Versailles Peace Treaty after World War I, Germany was banned from building and operating submarines among other offensive weaponry. This resulted in moving the armaments research to foreign countries. For example, German tanks and aircraft were tested and developed in the Soviet Union. Therefore, unlike the other submarines in the Finnish Navy, Vesikko was not part of the Naval Act. Instead, it was part of the secret rebuilding of the German Navy, the Reichsmarine. The objective of Germans was to design a modern submarine type to be used during general mobilization. Technology and standards were to be new and not based on World War I designs. For this purpose 2 prototypes were built, E1 in Spain and CV707 in Finland. The latter was later chosen as a first submarine type for the new fleet. Construction of both of these experimental submarines was funded by the Reichsmarine. Commander Karl Bartenbach, who had retired from active service in the Reichsmarine, worked as secret liaison officer in Finland. His official title was Naval Expert of the Finnish Defence Forces, and it was under his leadership that the 496-ton Vatainen-class and the 100-ton Saukko were built in Finland. Both submarine types were designed by IVS. For the German Navy, his mission was to oversee the developing and construction of a 200 to 250-ton submarine, which would still equal the combat effectiveness of the Vatainen-class. The whole task was named the Lilliput Project. The official decision allowing Vesikko to be constructed in Finland was made in 1930 after several meetings with the Finnish government. Since the Lilliput Project broke the terms of the Versailles Peace Treaty, there was no mention of Germany in the agreement, and it was decided that the new submarine could only be sold to nations belonging to the League of Nations. The would-be buyers also had to have the rights to own such a weapon. The Finnish government gained primary rights to purchase the submarine. The construction of CV707 began in 1931 at the Kryton Vulcan dock in Turku. At the time of its construction, CV707 was one of the most advanced submarine designs. For example, the maximum depth was over twice that of earlier German submarines, and its hull could be built completely by electric welding. By eliminating rivets, there was increased resistance to water pressure, decreased oil leakages, and the construction process was faster. Germans tested CV707 in the archipelago of Turku during 1933–34. Vesikko was a prototype for the German Type II submarines. 6 Type IA submarines which were almost identical to Vesikko were built in the Deutsche Werkedock in Kiel, and after these, 44 Type IIB, IIC, and IID submarines were built before and during World War II. Service history. According to the agreement between the Finnish Ministry of Defence and the Crichton Vulcan Company, Finland had the primary purchase option until 1937, and the Finnish government took over the submarine during August 1934. After the Finnish Parliament had approved the acquisition in 1936, the submarine joined the Finnish Navy under the name of Vesikko. Winter War Vesikko was deployed with Vesikko to the Hanko region on 30 November 1939 as several Soviet surface combatants were headed towards the area. However, the submarine failed to arrive in time to intercept the Kirov and its escorts. Vesikko was able to get close enough to see the cruiser but was unable to reach firing position as it had to evade shellfire. When on the 17th of December and on 2 following days the Soviets sent the battleship Oktябrskaya Revolutsia to bombard Finnish positions at Koivisto, the Finnish Navy decided to send out Vesikko to hunt for it. However, by the time the submarine reached the area a day later, the Soviet battleship Mara, which bombarded on that day, had already departed and temperature had dropped to -15 degrees Celsius, which prevented the submarine from diving. Continuation war. In summer 1941, all Finnish submarines were once again readied for combat operations and they sailed to the staging area in the Gulf of Finland. Vesikko's base of operations was to be Vaatapa Island near the town of Loviisa. When the continuation war started on the 25th of June, all submarines were ordered to patrol the eastern part of the Gulf of Finland. On the 3rd of July 1941, Vesikko sank a Soviet merchant ship named Vyborg east of Gotland Island. The attack was made 700 meters from the target. First one torpedo was launched at 13:25, which hit the stern of the target. The target stopped but did not appear to be sinking, so Vesikko fired another torpedo which failed to explode. Very soon after the strike, 3 Soviet patrol boats started to chase Vesikko and tried to destroy it with depth charges and salvage the damaged ship, but failed to accomplish either task. Vyborg sank on the 3rd of July at 14:15. Soviet historiography later downplayed the sinking of Vyborg, insisting that several submarines and German naval bombers had assaulted the ship simultaneously, and that over 20 torpedoes had been launched against it. During fall 1941, Vesikko operated from Helsinki and made 3 patrols to the coast of Estonia. In 1942, equipped with depth-charge rack, she acted as an escort to convoys in the Sea of Åland, and hunted suspected hostile submarines near Helsinki. In the beginning of June 1944, Vesikko escorted the convoys which were evacuating people from the Karelian Isthmus. Due to the armistice between Finland and the Soviet Union, Vesikko was ordered to return to port on the 19th of September 1944. Vesikko sailed the last time as a combat vessel of the Finnish Navy in December 1944. During wartime, several officers were commanders of the submarine: LTN Kauko Pekkanen, Captain; LTN Olavi Aitala, Captain; LTN Antti Laino, Captain; LTN Pentti Raksinen, Captain; LTN Eero Pakala, Captain; LTN Olavi Sajanen and Captain; LTN Lauri Palmer. Museum ship in January 1945. The Allies commissioned Administration responsible for monitoring the observance of the peace treaty ordered the Finnish submarines to be disarmed, and in 1947, according to the terms of the Paris Peace Treaty, the Finnish defense forces were forbidden to have any submarines. The Finnish submarines Vesikko, Vesikko, Turzo, and Saukko were sold to Belgium to be scrapped in 1953. Vesikko was spared because the Finnish defense forces hoped that Finland could in future gain permission to use submarines again, and Vesikko was then meant to be used for training purposes. Vesikko was stored at the Valmetoi dock in Katajanoki district in Helsinki. In 1959, the Finnish Navy decided to sell Vesikko because Finland had not managed to obtain the right to use submarines again, and because Valmetoi complained that the old submarine hampered the work in the dock. Thanks to the Institute of Military History and the former submarine offices, the sale was cancelled and Vesikko was conveyed to the Military Museum. The Military Museum moved Vesikko to Suusaari Island in Suomenlinna on the shores of Artillery Bay and restored the submarine. The restoration process lasted over a decade and was very difficult. Most of the equipment had been removed after the war and put to other use. In addition, Vesikko had been subject to vandalism in the dock. However, with donations and voluntary work, the restoration was completed, and Vesikko opened as a museum on the anniversary of the Finnish Navy, the 9th of July 1973. Bibliography: Rossler, Eberhard. Ubutip 2. Die Einbaum. The VOM Originals Model. Bonn, Bernard and Amp. Grafer. ISBN 3-7637-6023-7.